Hey guys, it's Aaron again, bringing you a second deck profile today, and it is of a Neo Nectar deck, a particular build which I find is probably the best Neo Nectar deck, or build rather, compared to Dell's Ponzi Flowermen, aka Musketeers. Not that I don't like Musketeers, I just don't think they actually do anything, in my opinion. Just replace, call, and it's same old routine. But this one is probably a fun favourite build, and it's that ride chain, the Sephirot ride chain. Let's kick things off. And the starter is Arborist Dragon Ratoon. So he debuted, or this deck kind of debuted back in May 2013 when English meta got set 8. So his ability is, when a card named Arborist Dragon Branch, which is the grade 1 version, rides on top, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, search for up to one card named Arborist Dragon Sephirot, or Arborist Dragon Timber, which are the grade 3 and grade 2. Look for one of them among these 7 cards, reveal it to your opponent and put it to your hand, then shuffle the deck. So he's kind of like helping you make the ride chain consistent. The other ability is, when something else other than Arborist Dragon Branch rides, he just basically moves out to any circle like any other sort of forerunner. So that's that starter sorted. Next up are the triggers, and I am running 5 draw. 4 in the form of the weird eggplant, Maiden of Eggplant. Just look at that smile. So happy. And the other one, which Dale doesn't like because he thinks it's on something, and that is Dancing Sunflower. So that's 5 draw. Next up is a card that kind of hides my surname slightly, but it's kind of me on a card, and that is Sweet Honey, because honey does actually feature in my surname. So I thought it'd be quite fun to have a kind of card that has a pun on my name. And last but not least, I'm running 7 stand, which most people think, oh, well, you're going to run stands. But when you think about the grade 3 boss giving power to up multiple copies on the field, standing plus the power from the stand trigger and Arborist Dragon Sephirot's ability, it kind of works out. It's kind of like Zerakiel in a way, so I'm kind of using that principle. But yeah, so 4 in the form of Watering Elf. She has an ability that you can put her into Soul, choose up to one of your Neo Nectar units, and that gets plus 3000 to the end of the turn, which is like Margle Clone. And then 3 Maiden of Morning Glory. Next up is the grade 1 unit, and that is Arborist Dragon Branch. So it's the grade 1 of the ride chain, and the abilities are, if you've got the grade 0 in Soul, he gets plus 1000, so permanently on your turn and your opponent's turn he's 8000. So ignore this 7 down here if you've ridden on top of the grade 0 of this. Then the other ability is, when the grade 2 Arborist Dragon Timber rides on top, if you have a card named Ratoon, so the 0 in Soul, choose one of your Neo Nectar rear guards, so ideally like a Corolla Dragon, which will be coming up soon. You get to select that rear guard, and then you get to call a copy of it from deck. So this deck is all about getting multiple units on the field ready for the grade 3 to overpower the opponent with the plussing of the power bonus. Next up, it's pretty self-explanatory for most decks these days, if I can get them sorted. And it is 4 Maiden of Blossom Rain. She's the perfect guard, well, the first perfect guard, and the first card, one of the first cards to get Sentinel. I can't remember what the other one was in set 5, but I do know she's in the English meta anyway, because I don't think Japan got it till set 9. Next up, like I said, is Corolla Dragon. Now it's the 8k vanilla grade 1 unit of the clan. Basically, when you've got Arborist Dragon Sephirot in the field, it gets plus 3000 to every unit. So this becomes an 11k booster, and plus whatever's getting a boost in front of it. So it's building up the numbers quite nicely. And last but not least, kind of a tech to also kind of go with the stands, because after you use its ability, is a Lady of the Sunlight Forest. So her ability is she's basically a screaming and dancing now, it's a shout clone. So you can even ride her on first turn, so you rest her. Her ability is to rest, then you get to discard a card and then draw a card. So if you're resting, the stand triggers, you can basically stand her again and then give something else power, and then you basically got a full column again attacking. So she's still pretty handy. I am quite liking the Gojo clones at the moment, or Gojo or Shout clones, because they just seem to sort of, even if you've got the 12k attackers, they can attack most things on their own. So resting this behind it and using the ability isn't all that bad if you think about it. So it kind of gets rid of dead cards in hand, like if your hand's full of grade 3s. Next up are the grade 2s. So this one here is the grade 2 version of the ride chain, and it's Arborist Dragon Timber. Base 9000, and it's got a similar ability to the previous. If you've got Branch in Soul, it gets plus 1000, so it's base 10,000 during your and your opponent's turn. And he also shares the same ability as Branch, but except when the grade 3 rides on top, you get to choose a rearguard and then call a copy from deck. So it's pretty handy, so it's filling up the field, so you pretty much want to be calling like 3 Corolla Dragons at the back to get sort of like 11k boosters. So it's a very, very good deck. Next up, a card that you don't actually see at all, but if you're calling multiples, why would you not? And it's Hey-Yo Pineapple. Now, not only do I like the quirky things in life, this card is actually quite funny. It's a Mermaid Idol flute clone, I think, because I think she's got the same ability. That when this unit attacks, if the number of Neo Nectar vanguards or rearguards, so it includes himself, is 4 or more, this unit gets plus 3000 to the end of the turn. So plus with the grade 3, he'll be base like sort of 14k when he attacks, which is kind of nice to hit most rearguards like 9ks, so it's making him drop 10,000 at least. So if you're calling copies, why would you not run something that gets power if there's more units on the field? Next up, and last but not least, 3 Iris Knight. So here's the grade 2 10k vanilla card. So it's basically gains 3k and it's with the boss, and it's 13k, which isn't that bad because at least it can hit a cross ride just on its own. Next up are the grade 3s, and that is probably one of the better break rides at the moment, and that is Deep Green Lord Master Wisteria. He did actually have a name change from Lord of the Deep Forests Master Wisteria, but they've decided to change it. Why, I don't know, but hey ho, it doesn't matter. The ability is the break ride, so when you've got 4 damage and you ride on top of him, you count blast 1, and you choose up to 2 Neo Nectar rearguards, and then search your deck for up to 1 copy of each with the same name, and then call them separate rearguards, then shuffle the deck. Then the Vanguard gets 10,000. So for example, you've got a Hey-Yo Pineapple, then a Corolla Dragon. So you select them 2 units, and then you get to call a copy of each. So you're just by riding on top of this, you've also fulfilled Hey-Yo Pineapple's thing, like skill. So basically, with the grade 3 boss that's coming up, that I'm just going to reveal, from this, Hey-Yo Pineapple becomes 14, then Corolla becomes 11 if you've got another copy of each on field. That's a 25k column. Not many things can actually create that, so this card has greatly improved the consistency of Neo Nectar, to be honest with you, because sometimes you the idea of Neo Nectar is to sprout up and then call other units when one's retired and things like that, because they're all about sort of replacement. And then last but not least, one of the prettiest looking cards in the game, and that is Arborous Dragon Sephirot. Run 4 copies. Like pretty much most ride change, run 4 copies of each piece, bar the starter of course. Like I've been alluding throughout the whole video, the limit break ability, when you have 4 or more damage, and it is a continuous skill, so if you do get a heal trigger on your 4th damage, you will actually lose the power bonus. But nonetheless, the ability is all of your Neo Nectar get a skill, another continuous skill, that during your turn, if you have a unit with the same name as this unit on the field, on Vanguard or Rearguard, they get plus 3000. So the kind of like ideal field, really, if I can set it up. So basically one 3 Corolla, well, it's my ideal field anyway. And then sort of like 2 Hey-Yo Pineapple. So not only is that 25k columns there, that's an 11 boosting on another 11 because it gets plus 1000 if you've got Timber and Soul. So that's a 22k column. Okay, he's probably not going to make a cross-eye drop 15,000, but if they do drop 15,000, it's only for 1 trigger, which is still pretty amazing power boost. Like I said, with sort of like stands, he's 14k from just this ability. If you get stand, it's 19, which isn't that bad at all. You can't really complain with sort of like I said, I'm applying the Zarekiel kind of principle to it. So I still prefer actually stands if I was going to play Celestials. So it's still pretty viable. So I actually do like playing this deck. It's probably more fun. You think about it when you've got like cards looking like Hey-Yo Pineapple and you think, oh yeah, it's a joke of a deck, but it really isn't. It does actually build up quite nicely. It's stable. As long as, even if you don't use the ability, so if you have to misride one of the pieces, it's still really good, because obviously you can still call the pieces normally like you normally would, but the idea of Neo Nectar is to sprout up units from the deck and then call it to field without actually having to waste your hand or anything like that. So it's not only is it kind of offensive, it's also defensive in a way, because it's not making you waste cards from your hand to replenish the field. So I hope you guys actually quite like this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to share the videos around as well. I will try to actually upload more regularly than this. I know I probably lost a few subscribers, but I will actually try to make things better. Maybe we do some box openings, etc, etc. Yeah, so I shall see you later, guys. Bye.